Hello, I'm Shranta Holochak, the founder and CEO of Uma, an Ayurvedic beauty and wellness collection. This is the Uma Elements podcast. Each week, I'll be having a conversation with someone I greatly admire on the topics of Ayurveda, holistic healing, spiritual well-being, and alternative health. By sharing wisdom, together we will unlock a secret that, as ancient as they are, Ayurveda and other ancient modalities are as modern and relevant today as ever.
Our guest today on the podcast is Namrataa Kripalani. Namrataa is a certified Vastu Shastra consultant and an accomplished artist. Vastu Shastra is an ancient architectural system from India that aims to harmoniously blend spatial design with nature, maximizing the potential of living spaces. Namrataa specializes in helping individuals harmonize the 5 elements in their environment, whether it's their home or office. As a Mahavastu consultant, her approach revolves around conducting a comprehensive assessment of the energy and surroundings to assist individuals in achieving balance and creating nurturing spaces that promote a fulfilling life. In addition, Namrataa is a respected contributing writer for esteemed editorial outlets like Architectural Digest, where she shares her expertise on optimizing spaces and events. In this episode, Namrataa enlightens us on Vastu and its potential to bring positive energy into our lives. She provides valuable insight on how we can seamlessly integrate Vastu principles, both in significant and subtle ways, to thrive in our spaces. Namrataa, thank you so much for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have you. I'm a huge admirer of your work, and I absolutely love the wisdom you've shared with the world via a variety of outlets, not least of which is all the great work you do for Architectural Digest. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Shankala.
Wonderful. So, Namrataa, without further ado, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about Vastu, which in a way of initiating people of the West, it's a bit of a feng shui from the Vedic system of India. So it's Indian feng shui, for lack of a better word. And I'm hoping you could start us out by telling us what are the origins of Vastu Shastra.
You said it exactly the way I look at it, Shankala. When I want to explain it to the Western world, I do use the same explanation. And I personally look at Vastu Shastra as a 3D vision board as well, for just people to understand it a little simply and better. So coming to Vastu Shastra, it's a science of architecture and design that has originated in ancient India. If we really go back to our roots in Vedic period, which is thousands of years ago, our ancient texts like Rigveda and Atharvaveda, they both mention the principles of Vastu Shastra. We also have a lot of ancient scriptures. 2 of them come out really profoundly. One is Vishmakarma Prakash and the other is Brihat Samhita. Both of them provide very detailed guidelines for architectural designs, or if you want to plan a town, and even construction of a building. So Vastu Shastra is not really a part of any religion, but it's simply looked at as a way of life in India.
Love that overview. And as you know, you detail these the beautiful outline of Vastu. Could you give us a little bit more of an overview of its scope as well? Like, what are some of the central practices, purposes, some of the goals that we try to accomplish with this lifestyle science?
So the scope of Vastu goes beyond just architectural guidelines. We really emphasize on a holistic well-being of individual within their space, whether it's their home or their working spaces. So it gives you guidelines of really to consider the factors, considering the factors, what is the position of the sun, moon, the planets around us, and also considers the magnetic field of the earth. It's a very, very scientific study that we do. Say, for example, we say that according to Vastu Shastra, you should keep the east of your living space open. Now, science tells us that morning sunlight is very good for us. It helps regulate our circadian rhythm and also stimulates the production of serotonin, which is a hormone that promotes happy and positive moods. And it also provides us with vitamin D, which is very good for our bone health and our immunity. So if we really keep the east open, we are allowing this early morning sunlight to come into our space, which has several benefits, and it benefits our bodies and our overall well-being. If we really deep dive into anything that's mentioned in our ancient scriptures, we'll see that everything has a very deep meaning and a scientific explanation to it. Vastu Shastra is significantly around balancing the presence of the 5 elements in our existing space. These 5 elements are also, as you know, used in Ayurveda: the earth, water, fire, air, and metal. So the proper integration of these elements will enhance our well-being in a space. The purpose of Vastu Shastra is to achieve a free-flowing energy and really to cut out the influence that may hinder the energy flow in our space. So the primary goal of Vastu Shastra, I would say, is to create a harmonious work or living environment that promotes our physical and mental well-being.
Love it. And to sort of get to the heart of it, how do you consult people on Vastu when you meet them?
So I have an initial meeting with them to understand really, first things first, whether they want to get Vastu Shastra done for their home, or are they looking at it for a commercial space. So once we decide that, then I understand from there what are their needs, what are the goals, what are the specific concerns that they have relating to their working space. And after discussing that, I require a layout from the clients. And if I can visit the client site to analyze, I do that. If a visit is not possible, I request them for a floor plan. And then after that, we get a compass reading at the site, or I get it from the client if a visit is not possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of assess it, and I provide recommendation and solutions to provide, to improve the Vastu aspects of the space without making any structural changes. This is very important in today's modern world, because it's not possible for everybody to really break and remake a space.
Sure.
And we do this by the use of colors, we use metals, and we also use 3D objects which can be placed around the house or the office, like art and artifacts. And the remedies are done in 2 phases. So in phase 1, we balance all the 5 elements in the whole space. And then we wait for a month to see the results. And phase 2 is all about specific goals the client wants to achieve. For example, a son or a daughter of the house is of age and is not finding a suitable match, or marriage is getting delayed for no known reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could also be something like somebody has a business and now they want to attract an international clientele. So after a month of balancing the 5 elements, we do special remedies for specific issues. They could be any of these issues. And in some cases, I do suggest a client to get Astro Vastu done. In that case, we require astrological charts of the client. And then we study those charts and give them remedies very specific to them depending on their planetary positions.
Makes a ton of sense. And Namrata, I'd love for you to touch on some of this crossover between astrological charts and Vastu as well. So fascinating to hear you talk about the crossover.
So every direction in Vastu has a planet which is attached to it. For example, if we look at the southeast, it is governed by Venus, which is which is love as well for us. And if we look at the West, which is a position of, it is a direction of gains, that is governed by Saturn. So let's say if you're not doing your Saturn is not well placed in your charts, you will have issues with gains and profits in your life. So as we balance it in your Vastu of the house, we also look at doing, more, let's say, remedies in details, which really affect the planet as well. We use colors, we use the different metals, and sometimes we also do some prayers and pujas to help the bad effect to reduce.
And be more favorable. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
And I know that for you, I'm sure every client is like a personal win in a big way. So I'm going to ask a tough question, but could you share with us, as many of our listeners embark on possibly their first journey into, this Indian feng shui, some examples where you've really seen this science shine when someone has been struggling with something and then 2 or 3 months later really has found new energy and new success and new directions they're headed in with this with these changes advised by Vastu?
Yes, sure. I have some very, very interesting examples there. I had a client who had major issues with debts in his life. And I obviously had a meeting with him, got his layout, did the whole study of the house. And interestingly, there were a lot of entrances in his house and a lot of directions which had an imbalance, which very clearly indicated that there will be deaths in his life. And we obviously did the specific remedies that were required for it. And within 8 months, the client was debt free. And not only
That's remarkable.
he would get work, but people wouldn't pay for it readily. People would want him to do free work for him. So we worked towards that as well. And today he's doing so well. He's totally debt free and he doesn't have time for me as well.
So I hear
Right.
you. That's a remarkable story. And on so many levels, it makes sense to me. I personally, maybe I don't articulate it well, but if my space of work or space of eating is not clutter free, it's not something that I'm vibing with, it makes a huge difference, both to the quality of my work, the quality of my psyche. So taking to the next level, it's so profound that we can shift our internal energies by shifting the energy flows of the spaces we operate in, live in, breathe in, sleep in. It totally makes sense. Shifting gears a little bit around the other side of Vastu, which is, obviously you're an amazing, incredible resource for Vastu guidance. But for some people who are probably just starting out, do you recommend any self-study? And what point does it become important to meet with, collaborate with an expert practitioner?
Well, I absolutely advocate self-study. I think it's always good for people to have knowledge about different things in life. That's how I have lived my life. But when it comes to making changes to achieve a very, very specific outcome, I think it's good to hire an expert to do the job. For example, a lot of people believe that north-facing house is very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a certified Vastu consultant will look at 32 directional entrances in any space, out of which 8 directions come in the north. And not all of them are suitable. Like, for example, 3 directions in the north are fabulous, but the other ones will not be really the best ones for you to have.
Interesting. That is so helpful. to know. Obviously, it would be the next level of execution to take that into account. But in terms of self-study, Namrata, are there any resources you like, or websites or books that you like people poking around in, just to get smart, even to better imbibe advocacy from someone like yourself?
Well, I've done a lot of research on Vastu. And one website that gives really very good information, and it is backed by a lot of experimentation done by them, is mahavastu.com.
MAHAVAASTU.com?
MAHAVASTU.com.
Understood. We will be sure to put that link in. Thank you for giving us that pointer. I am sure many of us will be on there shortly, finding ways to improve energy in our spaces. And speaking of energy in all our spaces, I'm going to hit you up for some free advice, and I hope you won't mind sharing if there are some universal ways, like you offered, an open east, that all of us can start to imbibe some of this positive energy and flow in our lives. Yeah, and I'm saying this from sort of the perspective of within Ayurveda, even though everything is by and large dosha driven and your specific dosha driven, there are some practices we all benefit from doing, such as washing your face and eyes with cold water when you wake up, drinking warm water with lemon in the morning, dry brushing. And these work for all doshas. Are there similar things within Vastu that we should all start doing today?
Yes, of course, we do have some universal ways. The way people can really have Vastu Shastra as a part of their life and, have a positive impact on their well-being. My first and foremost and the most important tip is forever keep your home or office clutter free. Like you mentioned, that our environment, what you see makes a big difference to you. It actually makes a difference to us all. Some of us are conscious about it and some of us are not. So keep your home office clutter free and clean, so that there's a very easy flow of good energy around you. And second is, make sure that your home is well kept. There is no leakage in the taps or the plumbing of the house. Or if you have any cracks in the walls, make sure that you repair it in time and it's all very well kept. And there should always be a good amount of natural light coming inside your home. It's important that we have natural elements as a part of our house and our living space. You can have plants in your house for some good energy and have light colors on the walls. If you are looking at hanging paintings on your walls, make sure they are, they have a positive feel to it. That's really important.
And speaking of placements of some of these objects, such as plants, mirrors, I know there is Vastu guidance on both types of plants, where to place them, where to place mirrors. Could you give us some tips around that?
Yes, sure. So to begin with, mirror is a water element, and it does best in a space that is governed by water element, which is our north. So when you put mirror in the north, it gives it a little bit of an extension and also helps you in the growth of your career and attract more opportunities in life. Same way, if you look at plants, plant really signifies growth in your life. So if you place a plant in the north, it will help you grow in your career. And east, again, is very good for getting the morning sunlight, and plants will do very, very well over there. So east does very well with plants as well.
Understood. And getting a little bit more specific and continuing to, I'm afraid, sort of get some guidance from you, would love any tips or thoughts you might have in improving our space for better health. I know that's a question top of mind for many.
Yes, in fact, Ayurveda and health are very, very well connected, and they both come from ancient sciences that are originating from India. And I'll give you an example for this. We have a plant called tulsi, which is also known as holy
Holy
basil.
basil, yes.
So, according to Vastu, we always tell people to put it in the northeast of the house. It has very, very purifying energies and creates positive energy wherever you place it. And if you look at Ayurveda, Tulsi is considered as a sacred herb. It has so many medical properties and it's used for many treatments as well in Ayurveda. It's immune boosting, it relieves stress, and also helps in our respiratory health. So by just incorporating a simple tulsi plant, which is recommended Vastu location, individuals will not only enhance a positive energy in their living space, but also they'll have access to the beneficial properties of the herb for their health. They can consume it. Another thing is essential oils. Essential oils derived from various plants are considered an integral part of Ayurvedic therapies and treatments. And in the same way, Vastu Shastra, we have 45 energy fields that are created when any space is built. So each energy field is linked with a fragrance. The sense of smell is closely linked to our emotions, as we know. And we can, it can have a profound impact on our overall well-being. So depending upon the outcome we are looking at, we can diffuse essential oils in our surroundings. So you can diffuse sandalwood oil in the south direction, which is associated with relaxation and fame in Vastu. And the energy field in the east is called the connector. It harmonizes relationships and connects individuals to each other. So to activate that field, you can infuse an essential oil blend of saffron, red rose, and camphor. So we see how everything in nature is all connected with each other. The whole key is to just create a balance.
Love that. And of course, love your integration of essential oils. That is where I will start. But staying on this, any tips for love and relationships? I know that it's a question on many of our minds, whether we're looking for love or just looking for ways to enhance love and relationships that we are already in.
So if you want better romantic relationships, you need to enhance the southwest of your space. So the southwest space is for relationships and bonding with people. You can hang the pictures of your spouse or your family. It increases the bonding between you. And if you want to increase romance and attraction with your spouse, then you look at the north of the northwest of the home. This zone is specifically for attraction. So you can hang a picture on the wall in this zone with your spouse, and it will increase the love and romance between you two. Now, in case you don't already have love in your life and you're looking at attracting, I would say, a perfect love, then again, you need to look at the southwest itself. You can keep a pair of swans or lovebirds over here, and this will help you attract perfect love in your life. You can also diffuse sandalwood oil here and watch love come into your life.
I love the sound of that. And, staying on this one, I've heard and, would love your 2 cents on it about placements of mirrors in the bedroom and do's and don'ts around that. Is that accurate from your studies? And what are the recommendations around mirrors in the bedroom?
So about mirrors in the bedroom, you have to make sure the mirror is not facing you while you're sleeping. Simply because we can it is even logical that if you wake up in the middle of the night and you just see a reflection, you might just get afraid, right? If you really want to look at the practicality of it. But energetically, it's best to put mirrors in your bedroom where it's placed on either the east wall or the north wall. Make sure that it's not facing the bed and it's not on the south wall. South wall is a big no for mirror, since south is a direction which is governed by fire, and mirror, like I told you, is a water element.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. And thank you for clarifying that. In terms of starting out with Vastu, we talked about plants, we talked about mirrors, essential oils. Anything else I may have missed in terms of covering prosperity, mental health, improved success at work? Because I know these are questions most on top of our minds as we go through, somewhat busy and packed lives.
Right. So, of course, we can do a lot for prosperity. To begin with prosperity, we need to look at the north direction, because north direction is obviously water direction. It helps the flow of the energy keep going in the house. It also is governed by our career and money opportunities. So to be able to attract that and have a flow of that in your life, you can have a water fountain in the north. It is really good to have it there, along with a plant which has large leaves, because since I told you plant represents growth, it will help the energy of growth coming into your career. And you asked about
also mental
success
health,
at work, right?
yes, success at work, mental health, some of the most pressing topics on our minds.
Right. So I think for success at work, it's really important that you keep your working desk really clean and clutter-free. And also you face the east or the north while you sit, simply because the magnetic energies coming from these directions are very energizing. And for mental health, it's really important that we keep the northeast section of direction of our house clutter-free and clean, because this is known to be the space and energy which governs the head of a person. So if you want clarity of mind, it's really important that this space is clutter-free and clear. It's a great place to do meditation as well. So you can do your morning meditation sitting in the northeast. That helps a lot.
Very cool. Okay. And Namrata, not to throw a curveball into the mix, but I know that your very impressive resume also has two other things that I love, which is a sound healer and being a subconscious reprogramming facilitator. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
So to add to that, becoming a Psyche facilitator complemented my ability to help people live a happier life.
Namrata, may I ask what a Psyche facilitator is? I know it's not psychic, it's Psyche, right?
Right, Psych-K.
Yes, please tell us about that.
Okay, so Psyche is a modality which helps people, which helps me assist people to reprogram their subconscious mind. So this is very powerful because we all are driven by emotions and beliefs, and all our actions are driven by that. And these beliefs are deep rooted in our subconscious mind from the very childhood. We have a lot of beliefs, whether they are negative or disempowering ones, which are there. We are carrying them since our childhood, and these can be reprogrammed. So, like, for example, some people believe that money is a bad thing because they might have a childhood trauma related to it. This may result in them having money blocks. So let's say we are correcting the Vastu of their house and we are trying to balance the money zone, the direction of west, the direction of north, but their belief is very weak around money. So the results will not come very fast. So if we actually work on the belief as well, it gives sometimes phenomenal results. And, I totally believe that what we see, hear, feel, and whatever we think has a very, very profound impact on our lives. So that's how I chose Psyche and also sound healing to come into my life, because
And
sounds as well,
yes,
in
I
all
want to hear a little
sound.
bit more about how you work with people on sound healing.
Yeah, the sounds in our environment affects us in very, very different ways, everybody in a different way. Like if we really look at the sounds of the nature, waterfall or rain, it can be calming and healing for our body as well as our mind. And at the same time, if some people hear thunder, they really get scared and it invokes fear in some people. So I did a deeper study into this science of frequencies and how they can heal our body, because we are all made of frequencies and we are all energy. So sound as well is a frequency. So I've seen phenomenal results where in my case it's really helped me a lot. So in alleviating pain or regulating my emotions and feel much more self-centered.
I love that positive thought, and taking control of our lives beyond what may have happened to us in our past is always something to aspire to. I know I try to do that every day in my life, and it's wonderful to have assistance in people like yourself when we set out in that journey. So, Namrata, thank you for all the great work you do, not least of which is giving your time to this podcast today. I know I've learned so much. I know so many people have learned so much. And I know that they're intrigued about Vastu, astrology, Ayurveda, as well as sound healing and bringing Psyche into their life. So thank you again. And I look forward to doing so much more with you in coming days, weeks, and months. As we get our own journey together underway. So, Namrata, anything to add before we let you go?
Well, the only thing that I would like to say is that when you're working on yourself, do a holistic healing and not just one aspect of your life. Look at yourself and the life around you as whole, and then work on it.
You're totally right. Just like Ayurveda or any other Vedic science would recommend, it it is important to do that. And I've faced difficulties making changes on individual aspects myself. So I wholeheartedly agree from experience that it is important to look at that 360 perspective of you as an individual and your life as a whole, and you as a part of the environment you're in. So thank you for that sage reminder. I appreciate it, and more to come. Thank you again. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Shankala.
You can learn more about Vastu with Namrata by following her on Instagram at Nama_New Age Magic. That is NAMA_New Age Magic. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to delve deeper into the world of Ayurveda with Uma. Please subscribe to the Uma Ayurveda podcast to continue this transformative journey with our series of conversations that we hope you'll find enlightening. Visit umaoils.com, that is umaoils.com, for an even more immersive experience, exploring not only our luxury Ayurveda products, but also an array of inspired wellness insight and lifestyle tips.